Hi folks, how you doing? I'm Ross Minton, this is Grow Your Own Life. Please like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. And without further ado, I'm going to get to it because I'm going to sow some seeds and I'm going to show you what to do with some leftover toilet paper tubes. So without further ado, here we go. So I have a fair few seeds to sow now. I've been putting it off and putting it off because of the weather we've had this year, and because I don't have much space. As you can probably see, this is my crafty area in the house, and it's a little tiny desk with a little windowsill, and I haven't got loads of space to keep seeds out of the cold, out of the rain, out of the wind. I have a couple of greenhouses down the allotment, but they are unheated and they are drafty, and they're great in spring, summer and autumn, but in the winter they're not much use really. They stop heavy frosts, but they wouldn't help with seeds germinating. So I'm reliant on sowing seeds early and putting them on my windowsill. And as always, if you sow them too soon, they get long and leggy. And although I have a video that shows you how to save leggy seeds, ideally you don't want them to get leggy in the first place. Got all these to sow: chilies, cucumbers, loads basically. I probably won't sow them all, and there's some multiple packets here for artistic license. But yeah, just basically going to get my tomatoes, my cucumbers and chilies and my peppers on the go. But I've been thinking about my gardening and the environment and everything else, and I know sometimes it can come across a bit preachy, but I don't mean it to be preachy. But I used to use those plastic trays, you know, the really thin flimsy ones, and I found that after 1 year, even sometimes after one sowing, they would break and they'd leave little bits of plastic, green, white, black plastic all over the garden, and it was an absolute nightmare. And it's not good, is it? You know, it's just very, very wasteful. So over the last 12 months, I've started to get away from that cheap disposable potting trays, as you'd call them, you know, seed cells, and want to make my own. And so I've invested in some of these. Not expensive. They are pretty thick, as you can hear. A little bit flexible, but they're pretty good, solid seed trays. And these were from Wilkinson's. And they were 3 trays for £2 or £1 each. So basically, if you buy 3, you get 1 free. And that, kept out of the frost, stored away at the end of winter in the shed, that should last a pretty long time. And even if it cracks or whatever, you know, a bit of tape on it, that should last quite a while. Obviously, a wooden tray or a metal tray would last even longer, but not everyone can afford wooden and metal trays. And 3 trays for £2, I think that's pretty good, to be fair. But the question is, what do you do with it? Do you drill holes in the bottom and do you put compost all the way in there and sow direct and pick out, which is fine, and I've done it plenty of times and I have no issues. But sometimes it can be a bit of a pain, really, because what happens is the roots get all entangled and you forget, and you have all the jobs, and before you know it, whatever you've sown in there is all tangled up, and it can be a right nightmare. So those disposable seed trays for the plug plants, they're normally quite good, because obviously you put 1 seed in each cell, and then obviously you just take that cell out and plant it on, and they normally save a lot of waste, but obviously they're not great for the environment. So over the winter, I have been saving my toilet roll tubes, and all I've been doing is squeezing them flat like so, not anything fancy like that, and I've been stacking them up and putting them in a box in the kitchen, and I've even taken some down the shed at the allotment, and I've got hundreds of the buggers now. And there's something everybody uses. I've used in the kitchen roll tubes, the tin foil, the cling film tubes. I've saved every single tube or brown cardboard receptacle that I've got my hands on. And all I've done is, once I've got them like that, I've cut them in half. Push them down like so, nice and flat. Pop them open again, like that. And as you can see, it's kind of an elliptical box shape now. It's not quite round, because you don't want it round because it wastes too much space. So you kind of want that kind of elliptical, almost like a fig roll kind of shape, if you can. Almost square, but with rounded corners. and you pop loads of them in one of these trays, like so. And that is all my plug plant trays now. That they will all be like this. And all I have to do is when the plants have grown, I can just take one out, because I've got them wedged in now and I don't want to lose my system. All you got to do is take one out when the plant's in and you just plant it straight into the ground, just like you would a seed cell. There's nothing on the bottom. The seeds will all hold together and the cardboard will rot down. Most people put cardboard like this in their compost bins anyway. There's no ink, there's very little glue. And even so, most of the glue that is used is PVA glue anyway, because obviously it's a sanitary product, so they wouldn't use any nasty, horrible glue with it because you'd glue your bum shut. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing. So that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30, 35 plug plants will be in one of these trays now. You could probably squeeze in a few more if it was smaller. You could probably put a few less in if they were bigger. But it doesn't have to be an exact science. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can fill this tray with compost now. It doesn't matter if I waste a bit and it goes into the edges, because once I finish with it, I can just sprinkle it in the flower beds and I can grow my plants in that. And I've already, just with this month's toilet rolls, I've already filled up 2 trays. That's for February's toilet rolls and kitchen rolls that we've used in our house. And as you can think about it, over the course of the year, how, you know, in fact, February is a short month, and that's 2 trays, plus lots and lots of spares I've got kicking around everywhere now. I've probably got 3 trays worth. So you think about that, 3 trays every month of plug plant seed cells for free out of something you'd normally throw in the bin or throw in the compost. To me, that just makes sense, doesn't it? So right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some compost in. You don't need to see me doing that because I'm sure it'll be very, very boring. I have a bag of bog standard basket compost for like hanging baskets. I don't use special compost for sowing my seeds because the seeds don't need it. They don't. A seed will germinate on kitchen paper or on a wet cotton wool or anything. So you just need the bog standard compost, really. I know some people, you know, they want to use the expensive stuff because they do shows, you know, and that's fine. If you want to do it and you have good results and you crack on, but personally, I don't. In the past, I've just gone out into the garden. I've dug up some of old compost from last year. I've riddled it through a sieve and I've used that, and the seeds germinate fine. And then once you pop them on, they're in decent compost anyway. You don't need to spend a fortune on seed starting compost. So this is the compost I've got. Get it down. Wilkinson's tubs and basket compost. Now this is a 20 litre bag of compost. And this cost me £2, which I thought was a bargain, really. And the reason I got this rather than get an absolute massive one is because I knew the weather was rubbish and I knew I'd be sowing seeds at my desk in the house, and this is just handy. I can keep this under my desk. If I had a big 75 litre bag of compost, then that would be a bit of a nightmare to keep in the house, and no doubt the dog would probably be in it all the time. But this will get used so quickly. And also, to be perfectly honest, it was light enough that I could carry it back to the car on my trip to Wilkinson's, because the big ones I always need to get Mrs. to help me lift them in. So there we have it, folks. The seeds are So there we have it, folks. They're now full, and as you can see, and probably make a liar of me now, but let me get one out. They're pretty solid. I mean, there's no, obviously you pack them in, so you can actually pick them up and move them about a bit. This compost isn't just falling out the bottom. So they will be perfect. Now let's get some seeds in there, shall we? So folks, as that's the packet seeds done, now I've got one of these. This is a cayenne pepper. This is basically one of them. All it has been is harvested and then dried in the kitchen over winter, and I use them in cooking. As you can hear, it is full of seeds. So what I'm going to do is just snip it open, and I'm just going to finish off all of these with these and see what we get. Could well have cross-pollinated if chilies cross-pollinate, I don't know. Because I had jalapenos and all kinds of things in the greenhouse with it, but we'll see what we get, shall we? So here we go, cut the end off, cut down the middle, and we'll see what we get. Still loads more seeds in there, but I don't want too many, but I'm quite happy to put more than one in the cell, and I'll just pick out the one that looks the best. I think 3 in a cell should be enough, like so. 3 there, 3 there, 3 there. Let's get another couple out, because to be perfectly honest, I don't know if they're going to germinate, because obviously all they've been doing is hanging up in the kitchen ready to be eaten. So they might be rubbish, they might not be, but it's a little experiment and it'll be good fun, won't it? So there we have it, folks. That's the chilies sown. There's quite a few there. If they all germinate, then I should be well on the way. And I've left that chili there as a reminder that that's the homegrown one. So yeah, we'll see what that comes to, see if they're any good. Bit of an experiment, but that will be more than enough chilies for me to have down the allotment, and I'm sure I will give some away to various people, friends and family. So potentially there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 45, 50. There's potentially about 60 chili plants there, which, although we like our chilies in this house, it's more than enough for me. So right, folks, I hope you've enjoyed that. Bit of a change for the rainy winter we've had. At least we've sown some seeds now. At least we've got a few jobs done. So as always, please like and subscribe, and I will speak to you very soon. Take care, folks. Ta-ta for now. Hi, folks. How you doing? Now, this is a post-video disclaimer, because I made a mistake in that video, and you all need to know about it, because and I'm in a bit of pain at the moment. Don't sow chili seeds and then go to the toilet, especially if you're a bloke, because it stings. It really, really stings. And I'd completely forgot about this. I've never had it happen before, whether it's because I sowed them in the house and then I just went to the loo, I don't know. But those habanero and Scotch bonnet seeds have left a residue on my fingers, and now my wee man is burning. So yeah, so word of warning, folks, do not sow chili seeds barehanded and then go to the toilet, because it's sore, it stings, and it's not something you want to go through, trust me, because it's quite painful.